Imagine this. You're scrolling through your feed late at night, just one more post, and suddenly it's 3 a.m. Your eyes are burning, your mind is racing, and you can't stop. What if I told you this isn't weakness? It's a calculated trap engineered to hijack your brain. Welcome to the shocking truth behind social media addiction. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're watching this on YouTube, you're likely one notification away from another endless scroll. Today, we're diving deep into the shocking psychology of social media addiction. This isn't just a rant about putting down your phone. We're talking hard science, mind-blowing studies, real stories, cultural insights, ethical questions, and what the future holds. We'll unpack how social media isn't just a tool, it's a psychological weapon that rewires your brain, steals your time, and reshapes society. By the end, you'll have tools to reclaim your life. Let's start with some jaw-dropping stats. Over 210 million people worldwide are addicted to social media, more than Brazil's population. This isn't a bad habit. It's a behavioral addiction rivaling gambling or substance abuse. The average person checks their phone 150 times a day, spending up to 3 hours on social apps. Teens are hit harder, twice as likely to develop mental health issues from excessive use. And 70% of teens feel anxious if they don't check notifications within 10 minutes. Why does this happen? Social media taps into human needs, connection, validation, curiosity, and twists them into compulsion. Ever felt anxious when you haven't checked Instagram in an hour? That's your brain's reward system craving its next hit. We'll break it down. First, the history of social media's evolution from chat rooms to addictive empires. Then the psychology, dopamine loops, FOMO, cognitive biases, and why your brain craves likes like a drug. Next, platform design. How companies like Meta and TikTok engineer addiction with AI and gamification. We'll explore the mental health toll, depression, anxiety, cognitive decline, and workplace impacts. We'll share shocking case studies from teens spiraling into isolation to adults ruining careers. We'll examine cultural differences, ethical dilemmas, and future trends. Finally, solutions, proven strategies, tools, and community efforts to break free. If this sounds like something you need, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications for future deep dives. Comment below. What's your biggest social and media struggle? Scrolling at night? Comparing to influencers? Let's get into it. To understand this crisis, let's go back to the beginning. The seeds of digital dependency were planted decades ago, before TikTok or Instagram existed. In the 1970s, the internet was clunky and text-based. Bulletin board systems let users share messages via modems. It was slow but thrilling, connecting without leaving home. In 1979, CompuServe offered email and forums. By 1988, Internet Relay Chat brought real-time global messaging. The 1990s made the internet mainstream. In 1997, 6degrees.com, the first social networking site, let users create profiles and friend lists inspired by the 6 degrees of separation theory. It flopped but set the stage. Friendster in 2002 introduced social graphs. MySpace in 2003 exploded, with users customizing profiles with music and glittery backgrounds. Hitting 100 million users by 2006. People spent hours curating digital identities for validation. Facebook launched in 2004 at Harvard, opening to the public in 2006. Its like button in 2009 turned validation into a drug. Twitter, 2006, brought Okboyu, quick hit posts. Instagram, 2010, fueled visual obsession. Snapchat, 2011, added disappearing stories, creating urgency. TikTok, global in 2018, perfected addiction with short videos, infinite scrolls, and AI algorithms. It has 1.5 billion monthly users, with 52 minutes daily per user. When did addiction research start? In 1995, psychiatrist Ivan Goldberg jokingly proposed internet addiction disorder, but it stuck. By 1996, Dr. Kimberly Young documented cases of people neglecting life for online worlds. Her internet addiction test became standard. By the 2000s, social media was the focus. A 2009 study linked excessive Facebook use to lower self-esteem and depression. In 2011, researchers tied problematic internet use to social platforms exploiting rewards. A 2014 meta-analysis found correlations with anxiety and loneliness. In 2018, the World Health Organization recognized gaming disorder, paving the way for social media addiction. Stanford studies in 2021 compared app-induced dopamine to heroin or alcohol. Research on social media addiction grew tenfold over 2 decades, linking it to academic failure, cyberbullying, and crime. Adolescents are most vulnerable, with developing brains prone to reward hijacking. The COVID-19 pandemic spiked usage 40%, with addiction rates soaring. Research now spans global studies on self-esteem to ex-posts seeking detox tips. Early platforms were about connection, not addiction, but as engagement equaled revenue, companies weaponized psychology. When did you join social media? Comment your start year. Next, the brain science behind why quitting is so hard. Social media addiction isn't about willpower. It's about brain wiring. Your brain is reprogrammed, one scroll at a time. Let's unpack the psychological triggers. Dopamine drives the feel-good rush from likes. Social media triggers releases like heroin or meth. Harvard studies show posting online lights up brain areas like cocaine does. It's a loop. Post, get validation, dopamine spikes, crave more. Your brain desensitizes, needing more likes for the same high. Stanford calls it large dopamine dumps, like alcohol addiction. A 2022 study found heavy users show brain changes, like drug addicts with less gray matter in reward centers. FOMO, fear of missing out, is psychological torture. Seeing curated highlights triggers exclusion fears, sparking anxiety. Studies link FOMO to higher addiction, with users checking apps obsessively. A study tied FOMO to existential anxieties, like fear of death. 60% of teens report FOMO-driven checking, losing sleep. Humans crave approval, rooted in tribal survival. Likes and comments hijack this, offering instant acceptance. It's shallow. A Jefferson Health study shows addiction-like effects in teens' brains. Low self-esteem worsens it, pushing you to chase praise. A 2023 study found users with poor self-image spends 30% more time seeking validation. Posting activates reward centers, but oversharing leads to regret, driving more scrolling. Triggers include dopamine, FOMO, validation, sharing, boredom, and emotional suppression. A 2021 study found 45% of users regret posts but keep sharing to feel relevant. Boredom makes social media a quick fix. A study found bored people are 50% more likely to overuse apps. Anxiety and loneliness predict addiction, as users numb emotions with scrolling. 1 in 3 users admit using social media to avoid real-life problems. Cognitive biases amplify addiction. The Zeigarnik effect makes you obsess over unread notifications. The endowment effect makes you overvalue your online presence. A 2024 Nature study found biases increase addiction by 25% in heavy users. Our brains evolved for small tribes, not global networks. Social media mimics gossip, status, and belonging but amplifies them. Quora users say platforms recreate Stone Age social conditions. A 2023 Oxford study found brains misinterpret digital interactions as real bonds, driving compulsive use. It's not just individual. Early parent-child conflicts predict addiction, per APA. Gen Z's digital stare, blank expressions, from overstimulation ties to excessive use. Volitional control, your ability to stop, erodes in the FOMO cycle, per a Frontiers study. These aren't accidents, they're exploited. If you're itching to check your phone, that's the psychology at work. Next, how platforms design this on purpose. Psychology is the fuel. Platform design is the engine. Companies build traps, and your attention is the prize. Here's how they engineer addiction. Infinite scroll, invented by Asa Raskin for Facebook in 2006, removes stop cues like page ends, keeping you in a loop. TikTok perfected it. Videos autoplay with variable rewards. You never know if the next clip's a hit. It's like a slot machine. Swipe, reward, repeat. A 2023 study found infinite scroll boosts session time by 35%. Notifications are dopamine triggers. Random pings create anticipation, like gambling's variable ratio reinforcement. Harvard Business Review calls it addictive by design. 80% of users check phones within 15 seconds of a notification. AI algorithms learn your preferences, serving content to maximize engagement. Amen. Clinics lists algorithms as a top addiction driver. TikTok's For You page uses neural networks to predict what keeps you hooked, pushing extreme content to youth per Harvard Law. A 2024 report says TikTok's algorithm adapts within 3 videos. Stories and Reels vanish after 24 hours, creating watch now or miss out panic. Snapchat pioneered it. Instagram stories have 500 million daily users. Gamification turns apps into games. Snapchat's Snap Streaks push daily check-ins. Freemium models prolong use with rewards like virtual currency. A UMike study says social media mimics gambling tactics. 40% of teens maintain streaks to avoid social penalties. Modern platforms use AI to predict emotional states, pushing feel-good content or ads when you're sad. A 2023 MIT study found AI detects mood via typing speed and interactions, tailoring feeds to exploit vulnerabilities. FOMO-prone users get urgent content. Extroverts get social prompts. Introverts get curated feeds. Komodo Digital says UX/UI hijacks brain chemistry. Vanderbilt's Erin Calipari says platforms use intermittent reinforcement. UX Collective calls it a strategy exploiting human needs. Time trackers exist, but they're weak. Only 10% of users use limit tools effectively. The line between time well spent and addiction is blurred. This design is predatory. If you're outraged, like and share this video. Next, the mental health damage. Social media addiction doesn't just steal time, it shatters minds. Here's the research-backed toll. A Stanford review links social networking to depression and anxiety. UC Davis says it fuels loneliness and FOMO. Studies tie it to insomnia and chronic stress. A 2023 study found heavy users are 3 times more likely to report depression. Kids are hit hardest with developing brains disrupted. Hopkins Medicine says it impairs impulse control and emotional regulation. McLean Hospital links it to poor sleep, memory issues, and academic struggles. HHS cites body image issues and cyberbullying. Excessive use reduces attention spans and working memory. A 2024 UCL study found heavy use correlates with a 15% cognitive drop in teens. Adults face multitasking issues, impairing problem solving, per Yale Medicine. Workplace productivity tanks. A 2023 LinkedIn study found 25% of employees lose 2+ hours daily to social media, risking performance. It fuels conflicts via oversharing or misinformation. WHO links problematic use to lower well-being and substance abuse. Columbia Psychiatry ties heavy use to loneliness and suicidal ideation. Newport Institute notes FOMO, low self-esteem, and poor concentration. BMC Psychology says excessive use increases loneliness by 20%. Youth suicide rates rose 62% with social media's rise. Divorce rates are linked 4% to Facebook use. A 2024 survey found 1 in 5 teens contemplate self-harm due to social media pressure. This is a crisis. Share your story in the comments. We're in this together. Stories hit harder than theory. Here are case studies that shock. Dr. Ofer Torel at CSU studies brain rewiring. One case. A 30-year-old man lost his job after 8 hours daily on Instagram, neglecting deadlines. A teen girl developed anxiety from comparing herself to influencers, needing therapy. Studies show habitual use tanks teen performance. Harvard cites a 15-year-old boy exposed to extreme content, spiraling into depression. Levin Law highlights a 13-year-old with cognitive decline from TikTok binges. Stanford links heavy use to distress in college students, with one dropping out after failing courses. Harley Therapy shares a quitter's story. A 25-year-old woman overcame low moods by deleting apps. Yale Herald exposed Facebook's research showing teen harm, ignored for profits. A 2024 case. A Japanese student became socially withdrawn after TikTok addiction. These aren't isolated. Millions suffer. Addiction varies by culture. Let's explore. Global perspectives. In South Korea and China, academic pressure and collectivist cultures drive intense use of Kakao Talk and WeChat. A 2023 study found 30% of Korean teens show addiction, driven by academic FOMO. China's 1996 work culture pushes workers to social media for relief. In the US and Europe, individualism fuels selfie culture. A 2024 EU study found 25% of teens feel inadequate from comparisons. In Africa and South Asia, cheap smartphones spike use. Nigeria's Instagram culture drives 40% compulsive use among youth. India's TikTok ban pushed users to local apps, but addiction stayed high. Collectivist societies emphasize group validation, amplifying FOMO. Individualist cultures prioritize self-presentation. A 2024 study found culture predicts addiction severity by 20%. Are companies villains or businesses? Let's dive into the ethics. Facebook's 2021 whistleblower, Frances Haugen, showed they knew about teen harm but chased profits. TikTok's algorithm prioritizes engagement over safety, per a 2024 lawsuit. Tech argues users have free will, but psychologists say kids can't resist addictive design. A 2023 ethics paper calls for regulation, citing exploitation of vulnerabilities. Social media owns $1 trillion annually, with 60% tied to addictive behaviors. Should companies be liable? Comment your thoughts. What's next for addiction? Let's predict metaverse platforms and AI will deepen immersion. A 2025 forecast predicts VR social apps could double addiction by 2030. The EU's Digital Services Act and US lawsuits aim to curb addictive design. A 2024 proposal suggests age limits and algorithm transparency. Grassroots detox communities on X are growing. A 2025 survey found 30% of Gen Z plan to cut use. The future could be darker or brighter with action. Here's how to fight back. Inpatient programs help severe cases. Recognize symptoms, compulsion, obsession with online presence. Apps like Freedom or forest block distractions. Reddit users suggest 30-minute daily limits. A 2024 experiment found blockers cut use by 40%. Set limits, understand dopamine. Use parental controls for kids. Therapy and mindfulness help. Pair talk to angel. Replace scrolling with hobbies. Pair life bulb. Build awareness. Pair healthline. Protect youth with boundaries. Per US News. Meditation, suggested by Sadhguru, calms the mind. Simple schedules work per Heron Ridge. Take micro breaks per APA. Start today. Your brain will thank you. We've covered the truth. From history to brain hacks, design traps to mental ruins, global views to solutions. Social media connects, but addiction destroys. It's not your fault, but it's your fight. Delete an app or set a timer today. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment your plan, share to help others. Stay mindful.